Ladies and gentlemen, we got a lot of feedback right off the bat there. That might just be me, though. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to GCSN Wrestling Talk. We are in the middle of changing the name of this show and maybe doing something special. Who knows? We don't. I have no idea what I'm doing. Tonight, we have our good man, Jay. He's on this side. Jay with us. And below me, the myth, the legend, Martin Lee himself. We're going to open up this show really just because it happened this Saturday. It was a phenomenal event. We have AEW Full Gear to talk about.
That's right.
Now, Martin, did you watch it?
Yes, I did.
And Jay, I know you didn't. You haven't had the opportunity yet, but you caught up. You subjected yourself to spoilers just for us.
Just for you guys.
Just for us. So, basic, very first impression of what you guys know. What did you think of the show?
Well, I caught one highlight of the show. And it's the only thing I've been able to watch so far. And even then, I still got chills. And that has got to be when Chris Jericho enters and they cut his music. And then the crowd just continues to sing to his entrance song. That gives me chills every time, and it just shows you what kind of fan base AEW has been able to achieve in the just over a year that they've been on. And on top of that, they are usually very, very good about putting on great wrestling matches. So even just the one highlight I watched, I was like, man, I've got to make sure I buy this. Which is exactly what you want from your wrestling product. You want to be able to say, yep, this is what I want to watch. This is what I want to see.
Martin, first thoughts?
All right, so first thoughts were outside Nyla and Sheeta, the matches at a Full Gear were pretty good. I like them. But what really stood out to me was the tag team match. The Young Bucks versus FTR. Over a couple of years, they've been.
No, don't get too far into it yet. This is first thoughts. We're gonna dive way deeper into it a little bit later. And Heather, thank you for joining us. How are you tonight? We are doing great.
First thoughts were the matches were amazing and they put on a really good show.
So from the buy-in, I was sold. Serena Deeb and Allison Kay did a great job on the buy-in. And then we just went straight into the championship win. I mean, we all knew the tournament was built just to put Omega versus Paige together in a match. And every match throughout the night blew me out of the water with the exception of Sheeta versus Rose. And we'll get to that. I'm going to tell you why in a little bit, but we're going to start with the buy-in. Serena Deeb versus Allison Kay. You have the NWA Women's Champion who is contracted to AEW versus the free agent Allison Kay. Everything in that match right away doesn't make any sense to be on an AEW show.
Nope. But at the same time,
I was going to say, let's start with Jay. What do you think about this?
I mean, I love the fact that we can have wrestling promotions working together and going, back and forth with titles and hosting people on their own shows to give them more TV exposure and everything like that. It really helps out the wrestling promotion as a whole to show off a lot of talent, especially when there's a TV spot, there's a pay-per-view spot that you can really show off these people. With Allison Kay being a free agent, you never know where she's going to end up. And this could have been the big chance for her to really put on a great show for AEW and show off what she's got, no matter who it is that's going to be looking to hire her.
So my thoughts is that there's no way Allison Kay takes this match and doesn't sign with AEW.
It wouldn't make sense if she didn't.
Which means it's a huge signing for AEW, especially in their women's division, which we've been very critical of on this network.
That is correct.
Serena Deeb did a great job. And then after the match is the important, very interesting piece. Thunder Rosa came out. and got in Serena Deeb's face, making her intentions obviously well known. She wants her NWA Women's title back.
Mm-hmm.
However, Thunder Rosa is rumored to be a free agent as well. At what point do we start to talk about NWA completely getting bought out by AEW?
I mean, it's a possibility. The NWA has been around for a long time. Whoop.
This is a wrestling show. We're allowed to swear.
But it's been around forever. I mean, we've seen it on Impact before it was, Impact, and we've seen the titles used in other places. Completely bought out, though, I don't see it happening. But at the same time, I can definitely see a lot of NWA talent and using those titles to kind of fill in some of the spots on AEW.
Okay, but how many NWA people jumped ship to AEW during the pandemic? Whether their contracts ran out or anything, let's just name a few off the top. Serena Deeb. Eddie Kingston. Ricky Starks. Wow, they're all slipping my mind right now, and this is rough. There was 4 or 5 of them.
Mm.
And now, what do we know from NWA at the moment? Are they back to doing their YouTube show yet, or are they still just doing the once-a-month specials?
It's hard to tell with those guys because I don't know where they're going now, but I think they're still trying to decide where they're going.
Is AEW the new TNA? And okay, let's back up this train because it's hard. You can't say that for the sole reason that Billy Corgan didn't own TNA or NWA at the time of that partnership. He bought it out in, I think, 2016? Maybe 17? And he's had it since then. It was after the TNA Billy Corgan partnership ended because Billy Corgan was trying to buy TNA. Didn't work. They sold to Anthem instead. Now, Billy Corgan is in a very tough spot because of the pandemic. There's no way NWA made any money, and the Smashing Pumpkins haven't done anything relevant in 20 years. So, yes, I'm going straight into Billy Corgan's getting piss poor at this point. So selling off to AEW wouldn't be the worst idea for Billy Corgan's personal finances. However, Billy Corgan has always wanted to own a wrestling company, much a la Tony Khan. They're very similar people. So if you just get a quick investment from Tony Khan or the Khan family, because competition is good for everybody. Mm-hmm. But then you have that partnership. Imagine seeing champion versus champion Nick Aldis versus John Moxley. Just because you can. You don't need to give me a stipulation behind that.
That's a match that I want to see right now. That is a match that I want to see right there. That match is money right there.
I fully agree. Going to Trenton's comment here. Where's James Storm going to end up? He's a free agent, and he's still the NWA World Tag Team Champion with Eli Drake. However, Eli Drake is still with the company, so where does Storm end up? And as we know, at I think it was Bound for Glory, they had the Call Your Shot Gauntlet. James Storm is a free agent, showed up in that match. So, Jay, we'll start with you. Where do you think he goes?
I mean, his options are open. I could definitely see him going to AEW. I think that's going to be the fit for him. But I mean, really, when it comes down to it, right now, New Japan has completely opened up to they have everyone that was in America finally flying over. So they've lifted a lot of their restrictions. So I could tell that because World Tag League's coming up here just around the corner, and they've got a lot of the guys that haven't been on TV over there finally showing up. So that is a possibility. There is also a hint that there's going to be a secret new person coming over. So is it possible? Sure. Is it likely? No. But I would say AEW is probably the best fit for James Storm.
Martin, what do you think?
Yeah, I say
So help me
AEW,
God,
but
if you tell me WWE just to reunite beer money, I'm gonna slap you through this camera.
I want to say AEW, but I'm still going WWE.
Oh, he's going with it.
Yeah, bad.
I'm still going with it because before the pandemic happened, he said that he had a deal that he was gonna go to WWE, but it never happened. But then the pandemic happened, so to me, there's no perfect time for James Storm to go to WWE than right now. Well, when the pandemic is over, which we don't know when that's gonna be, but when the pandemic is over, I feel James Storm's gonna go to WWE and he's going to reform Beer Money, and they're going to give that tag team division something that needs, it definitely needs, and that is a legit tag team.
I can see the tag team name now. Adult Liquid Beverages.
Oh my god.
Incorporated.
Incorporated. You gotta add the incorporated.
It's going to be the full word.
So I can't see Storm going to WWE because he was going to be an enhancement talent in that contract. It was supposed to be a very short-term enhancement talent-like contract. Now, he's at a different point. He hasn't worked. He is getting to the back end of his career. So, an enhancement contract with WWE, not the worst in the world. Does he still want to actually fight for titles? Does he want to be a main event player? Because he still has the ability to be a main event player.
Mm-hmm.
In which case, I say he ends up back with Impact. They are begging former superstars to come back because the former lead of the ship screwed them. And we got completely off topic about AEW Full Gear, but that's what we do on the Game Changer Sports Network. We talk about whatever you guys bring up in the comments. Speaking of which, interesting thing, MLW guys and Impact guys are going to be competing in the Super J Cup. Jay, you're our New Japan guy. You want to take this away?
Well, we've got the Super J Cup is kind of odd because this is not usually the time that a lot of these things are happening. Obviously, the pandemic has really shifted the timeline. In Japan, they're going to be doing the Best of the Super Junior tournament, which is a very famous tournament. I mean, we had guys like Chris Jericho and Eddie Guerrero in it back in the 90s. Jushin Thunder Liger was in it. Now we also have at the same time the Super J Cup happening in America. I don't have it pulled up, but we do have I know the big one that got a lot of people talking was the fact that Lio Rush is going to be in it. So they are grabbing whoever they can, and I mean that's the awesome thing about the Super J Cup and a lot of the G1 and things like that. They grab whoever is available. They go to other companies and say, hey, do you want your guys competing in this tournament? And 9 times out of 10, you have other companies going, yeah, sure, let's get them out there. Let's have them showcase their stuff. So I find it extremely exciting. We've got a whole lot of, let me see if I can find the lineup for you.
That's a nice Xbox 360 you got behind you.
What was that?
That's a nice Xbox 360 you got behind you.
Yeah, I'm a little behind on the gaming. Let's see. Chris Bay, ACH, TJP, Ray Horez, Blake Christian, El Phantasmo, and Lio Rush, as well as Clark Connors. Clark Connors, who is LA Dojo Young Lion.
So the only person I didn't know was that last one, Clark Connors.
Yeah, he's still kind of new. He's done a lot of stuff in New Japan as far as the Young Lions go, won the Young Lion Cup. But you've got some fantastic talent that's going to be on the Super J Cup tournament, regular bracket tournament, not round robin. But it is looking very exciting. And unfortunately, because of my new sleep schedule, I have not been able to catch up with a lot of the stuff that they've been doing in America with New Japan. But they announced this lineup, and I went, I can't think of a match that's not going to absolutely be must watch.
I want to see Chris Bay versus Leo Rush.
That is a match that is going to be amazing.
So, and I mean, he's facing off against a young lion for his first match. You're almost guaranteed to see him in the second, go to the next bracket. So,
absolutely. Getting back on topic to Full Gear. We'll get back to New Japan if we have time. Don't worry, guys. We'll get back to it. So the show opened up with Kenny Omega versus Adam Page. And they went exactly how we all expected. Great match. If I'm giving you the Dave Meltzer scale, I'd say it's like 3.5, 4 stars. I hate Dave Meltzer. I'm going to make my own scale. It's going to be much better. We'll talk about that at another date. But it was a good match. Martin, what'd you think since you watched it?
Yeah, I think it was a pretty solid match. It was a great match. It was, because it went exactly how I expected it to go. Both men put all the line in there. They both had some great offensive moments, but at the end, Omega won, and he's now going to be the next challenger for Jon Moxley, which was expected.
So, this is completely sidetracked real quick. Still about Full Gear. You know what my biggest gripe with AEW pay-per-views is?
What?
Kip Sabian and Miro were not on the show. I didn't need a backstage segment to get us to Wednesday with them. They're not on the physical pay-per-view card. That can all wait. You can progress the storyline on AEW Dynamite or even on social media. I don't need them on my pay-per-view. If Miro's not in the match, go ahead.
Do you think you're saying they with Dustin Rhodes?
Yeah, absolutely. The AEW does too much filler with people that are talking about Wednesday on their pay-per-views. Your pay-per-view should be your end-all, be-all, not your let's progress this to Wednesday. No, you have your pay-per-view and then your fallout on Wednesday. If you're not on the pay-per-view, well, go fuck yourself. You shouldn't be on the show at all. If you're not wrestling, you don't need to progress your storyline. It's your pay-per-view. You need to learn that, AEW. Now, the way AEW's been working, we know, okay, on the pay-per-view, we're going to get at least the matches that we're getting on Wednesday. We're getting Rey Fenix versus Penta, whatever he's going by now, the Miro, whatever. He's had 400 different names. But we know we're going to get that promo. We know, or not that promo, but that little graphic on the TV. If that's smart, that's fine. That's not the same as the entire 7-minute best friends Miro, Kip Sabian, Penelope Ford segment. I don't want that on a pay-per-view. It's too TV-like for the pay-per-view. What do you think about that, Jay?
Mm-hmm. I mean, when it comes down to it, as you said, a pay-per-view should be the end-all, be-all. We understand that you want to try to get people that have bought the pay-per-view to get eyes on your next show. But at the same time, they bought the pay-per-view. They're probably watching the shows anyway, especially if they spent $59.97 or whatever it was to watch a pay-per-view. They're doing it for a reason. These are the people that you almost always know they're going to watch the shows. Sure, maybe there's a few people, outliers like myself, who don't have time to watch every single show and usually just buy the pay-per-views. And you still want to try to connect them to get those TV ratings. So I understand the purpose. But to make it a 7-minute segment to stretch it out and everything like that, not needed. You know, you paid all this money for your wrestling, for the stories that you want to see finished. You know, when you're looking at the card for what's going to happen on a pay-per-view, you're not going, man, I really hope that they include something in the middle where it just has two guys talking to each other. You're not looking for that. That's not why you bought the pay-per-view. So I agree, although I do understand why they have to do it, why they feel like they have to do it at the very least.
Martin, thoughts?
Yeah, I don't see the point of having two pointless segments on a pay-per-view. I mean, when you are on a pay-per-view, when it's a pay-per-view, you have to put them. You have to focus on the pay-per-view, not put on stuff that will be on Wednesday, and people will watch it on Wednesday. So you don't need to have to make them tune in.
If you do your booking correctly, you can do the exact same thing. Such as Team Taz.
Mhm.
The way they were involved in the pay-per-view, and we'll get to that, was perfect. We'll get to that when we get there, because I know Jay has absolutely no idea what I'm talking about. He has no idea where Team Taz show their face under any circumstance. It's going to be funny. After we had Omega versus Paige, you knew right away with how great that match was, we were going to get one of the filler matches. And that filler match was Orange Cassidy versus John Silver. It went 9 minutes and 40 seconds after the 16:25 that Omega and Paige went. Huge difference there.
Mm-hmm.
And that match was all just John Silver flexing. That's all it was. And then Orange Cassidy got the win. It was very slow. It was meant to, as we would say, calm the crowd from the hypeness of the previous match. And that's how you build a wrestling card. You want a very, very good match first to draw in the fans. Then you want to cool them down. Then you want to get them back up, get them up for the fourth match, bring them back down before the main event. Cards are placed the way they are on purpose.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
This match did exactly what it was supposed to do at the time. There was nothing impressive about the match. Orange Cassidy played all the hits, did his gimmick. John Silver, I mean, he was impressive. I didn't expect that out of him. I don't know much about John Silver, but I am now, after that match, invested in his wrestling ability where I want him to have a storyline. They got John Silver over in that match with me. Martin, thoughts? Martin, you there?
Oh yeah, still here. Yeah, had a little wag as well.
Okay.
Some wag. Alright, so yeah. Alright, so that match to me, it did what it had to do. It's just cool down the fans. Like you said, everybody played their part. It was a great. It was a nice match to watch. It was an easy match. Orange Cassidy got the win. Nothing too special here.
Exactly. After that, we went into Cody Rhodes. No. We went into Cody Rhodes, not Cody. Cody Rhodes. Darby Allin for the TNT title. And just in case you didn't hear me, I said Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes is back, people. Not just Cody, not this bullshit Cody. Cody Rhodes is back. You know what my issue with that is, though? I love Cody Rhodes. But you know where my issue lies in this?
What?
I'm going to just take it right off the top. I'm not going to, wait to or make you guys wait to hear this. I'm going to just drag it out for this last sentence. They said that Cody could never challenge for the AEW World Heavyweight Championship, correct?
Yes.
What's his name now?
Cody Rhodes. Wait,
It's not Cody.
I know where you're going here.
Cody Rhodes technically can now challenge for the AEW World Heavyweight Championship.
It's a lazy loophole, but it checks out.
A loophole is a loophole.
That is true.
If you're getting sued, you want to find a loophole. Any loophole works, but it at least makes sense story-wise. They said Cody could never challenge for the title again. They never said Cody Rhodes couldn't challenge for the title again. Is it lazy? Is it boring? Does it contradict themselves? Absolutely. All of the above. But they can do it.
Right.
I don't know if they will, but they can. back to the match at hand. Darby Allin won the TNT Championship, and at this point, he had to. At this point, juncture in AEW, they needed a quote-unquote AEW original to win one of their belts.
Mm-hmm.
Darby Allin became that guy. It went 17 minutes exact.
Wow.
And then, after the match, Taz came out, Ricky Starks and Brian Cage, and just berated Cody and Darby Allin. Martin, what'd you think?
Yeah, to me, the match was pretty good. It was pretty good. During the match, I thought I had Cody winning, but I was shocked when I saw Darby Allin won. But to me, that was the right move. That was the correct move there. But Team Taz, that was the right move as well. They came in, they destroyed Cody. They tried to injure Darby Allin. What came out? Was it Will Hobbs that came out?
Martin, I'm gonna need you to back out and come back in real quick. We're having some connectivity issues. So they gave Ricky Starks a lot of time, and Ricky Starks and Brian Cage both grabbed the TNT title after beating down Darby Allin and Cody Rhodes, and they did a little, no, this is mine, no, this is mine, no, this is mine. Give me Ricky Starks as the next TNT champion. Let's get the TNT.
You don't think Darby Allin should hold on to it for a little bit?
With Darby Allin holding on to it for a little bit makes a lot of sense. And I don't care how long this title reign lasts, but you need to now jump from a quote-unquote AEW original to another AEW original. Brian Cage is an Impact guy. Everybody knows him from Impact.
Right.
Ricky Starks was an NWA guy. Nobody knows Ricky Starks.
Right. Me included.
Exactly. I also think that the TNT title needs to be defended every week, no matter who the champion is. And they got away from that with Brody Lee. I didn't like that.
Mm-hmm.
You have a television title that is literally named after the channel you are on.
Right.
Fuck this up.
You gotta defend it. And it should be an every week thing. And I mean, I think that can really make a guy like Darby Allin, who is already over with the crowd very well, fearless, really great. I enjoy his stuff. And you go ahead and give him that airtime, he's going to perform. And I think it's only going to make him and that title hotter if he goes ahead and says, yep, I'm going to defend this every week, make it a him decision so it gets him over even more. And then that'll bring a lot more excitement. That'll make Wednesday nights must-watch TV again.
Real quick, I'm looking at the entire card, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Let's name how many of these guys are AEW originals that are on one of their pay-per-views. We're going to go with Hangman Page. Definitely an AEW original because he was just an indie guy that was on Being the Elite before that.
He was over in New Japan for a while, but he wasn't utilized.
I was going to say, was he a star, though?
No.
He's not Kenny Omega. Kenny Omega is definitely New Japan, through and through. Then you have Orange Cassidy and John Silver, whose biggest claim to fame for both of them was a match against each other in Beyond Wrestling in Massachusetts before AEW. Definitely two AEW originals right there. Darby Allin, circuit, just an indie circuit kind of guy, AEW original. Shida, I don't know anything about her Japan work. She over in Japan. All right, so Shida versus Nyla Rose, both AEW originals. We know the Young Bucks and FTR both came from other places. Matt Hardy versus Sammy Guevara. Guevara's an AEW original. MJF and Wardlow, both AEW originals. And this is on a national spotlight, mind you.
Right.
Obviously, MJF came from MLW, but they're not on a national spotlight like AEW or even in Impact Wrestling is. And then Moxley versus Kingston. Kingston's. There isn't a single person I know that doesn't know who Eddie Kingston is in the wrestling world.
Right.
So he's kind of the outlier. And he hasn't been with AEW long enough for me to call him an AEW original.
I'd agree with that.
So that's where yeah. And Mr. Darby versus Mr. Starks for the TNT title. It's money. I'm sold. Orange Cassidy is Brandon's new favorite wrestler. That gimmick is just so great. Can we just that gimmick is great.
It's fun.
It's amazing.
Whatever. Can I throw out a wild post-COVID rating grabber? Absolutely, Brandon. Throw out whatever you want. So we're gonna move along in the card because I'm blowing time here somehow. Sheeta versus Rose. Martin, I got a lot to say about this match, so if you want to start, by all means.
Yeah, this match was nothing interesting at all. It did what it had to do. Nyla Rose looked like looked like a monster. Sure, she was hobby, but she did what she had to do. Sheeta was the fighting champion, and they did what they did, and they told the story they wanted to tell, and it was an okay match, but Sheeta had to win there, and she did.
Yeah. Okay. Let me just tear this match apart. Jay, I know you didn't see it, and I know you're gonna watch Full Gear eventually, but let me just tell you, this was Nyla Rose's worst match in AEW.
Wow.
Now, I've been very since the first time I saw Nyla Rose wrestle a match, I've been very critical of her because she's just not good.
Mm-hmm.
She's slow, she's lethargic, and she doesn't know how to move around the ring. I should not be able to watch and pick up on every single mistake that you make. If they are that noticeable to someone that never trained in wrestling, you're doing this wrong.
Right.
Whereas, Jay, when you watch this match, I want you to message me and just, okay, this is really how much she got wrong, because I can guarantee you I missed some things.
It becomes extremely obvious, even just the footwork. Knowing where to put your feet at sometimes. Even I'm watching some matches, I'm just going, oh boy, yeah, that you weren't where you were supposed to be. And from the sounds of it, if you're able to pick these things up, I'm going to be able to rip to shreds. I'm not saying that I'm, the end all be all, but while it's just us three, I'm going to go ahead and take that spot.
That's kind of why we have you here, actually.
I try my best.
There was nothing good that came out of this match. It didn't get Nyla Rose over. Every mistake was just so noticeable. And Sheeta did everything she could to try to cover up Nyla's mistakes. Sheeta might be the most over woman in AEW right now because of the way she held down during the pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
100%, you need to get her somebody that can actually wrestle across from her. Thunder Rosa versus Sheeta did it great. It was so entertaining. And you gave us Nyla Rose. But we're not supposed to think that your women's division is trash.
Mm-hmm.
Come on.
If Thunder Rosa signs a contract with AEW, I can see her being the next challenger.
Who? Sorry, I missed that.
If Thunder Rosa signs an AEW contract, I can see her being the next challenger to Sheeta.
If Thunder Rosa signs an AEW contract, give her the title the next day. I like Sheeta. She's done great. Thunder Rosa is money. Absolute money. You can't not give her the title if she does actually sign. And then switch it to babyface real quick and give me a Thunder Rosa versus Britt Baker storyline leading all the way up to, I don't care what pay-per-view, 2 pay-per-views from now, after Revolution. I think it's All In or All Out, one of the two. I don't care. That's when you make Baker versus Rosa for the title money.
Money.
Both of them can wrestle. Both of them can talk. Both of them can walk. That is a money match in the making if they sign Thunder Rosa.
Right.
So going back to Herrera's throw a wild post-COVID rating grab. This is WWE related, apparently. He knows it'll never happen, but here's his post-rating grabber. Vince loses his stocks in WWE. Then let's say around WrestleMania, you hear the No Chance in Hell start to play on AEW and walks out Vince himself as the new GM. Yeah, so that's not any way, shape, or form ever going to happen. Vince is trying to destroy AEW at every corner necessary.
Mm-hmm. Not only that, but I don't think the AEW fans would like it. I mean, that's kind of why they're watching the product.
AEW fans are literally just anti-WWE. Look at me. I don't watch a single minute of WWE wrestling anymore. But I can sit down and watch 2 hours of Dynamite, no problem.
Right.
I haven't been turned away from wrestling. I've been turned away from WWE. And it sucks that they have some of the most talented in the world.
Yes, that is very true.
Martin, what are your thoughts on that? What do you think about that crazy rating grabber?
Yeah, that's never gonna happen. Like you said, the AEW fans would absolutely hate it. I mean, why would you like Vince McMahon? What's the point of having Vince McMahon as your general manager when you literally want to have a show different from him? It just does not make any sense to me.
All right, moving on to the AEW card, because I know Jay wants to talk about some New Japan. Young Bucks versus FTR. All I have to say is it was an instant classic.
Two of the best tag teams in the world.
And they showed it. You could tell Nick Jackson was carrying around that injury. We all know he has a partial MCL tear. They're playing up as an ankle injury. It's actually a partial MCL tear. He elected not to have surgery and to keep going. Young Bucks win the match in 28 minutes and 35 seconds. A 30-minute match, guys.
That's a Young Buck match.
They played every single hit from previous generations. The Young Bucks, their style growing up, the Hardys, the Rock and Roll Express, they hit all of those finishers.
Mm-hmm.
Then you had FTR hit all of the style that they grew up on. All of their finishers. All of them to near falls. I'm pretty sure Dax Hardwood literally broke his hand at the beginning of the match.
I heard that was not a real injury. That's what I heard from my friend.
His hand was fucking purple. The post where the turnbuckles are connected to, because Nick Jackson moved, and instantly it started bleeding, and his hand turned purple.
Oh, jeez.
No way you can tell me that he didn't break at least 2 fingers in that punch.
Yeah, that looked real to me. Yeah.
Nothing you can say can convince me otherwise. But yeah, that's all I have to say. It was an instant classic of a match. If you haven't seen it, I highly recommend you go watch it. It is what FTR left the WWE for, to put tag team wrestling on the map. And that was the best tag team wrestling match we've probably ever seen in a non-gimmick match. Hardys versus Dudleys versus Edge and Christian. The first ever TLC match is still the greatest tag team match ever. This was the greatest tag team match, non-gimmick.
I'd give you that.
Moving on. Oh, go ahead.
I thought that match was amazing. They did it. To me, it was an instant. To me, it was amazing, and they did what they did. They did what they did to do, and they put on an amazing match. Both teams know really how to work with each other, and over the years they've been pushing this match, promoting it, and it lived up to the hype. that did during the pay-per-view, and it was amazing.
Next, we had Matt Hardy versus Sammy Guevara in the Elite Deletion match. A match that was 6 to 8 months in the making. They had started it when the world shut down.
Mm-hmm.
Because of COVID restrictions, couldn't finish it. They finally finished it, and we got a few surprises in the match. Surprise number one is Matt Hardy had a beautiful house. Surprise number two was Shane Helms showing up as Hurricane Helms, which means he's not going back to WWE, guys. He just signed that ticket. He is done.
Done.
Surprise number three, Gangrel showed up. Of all fucking people.
Right?
Shane Helms went into the Lake of Reincarnation at one point, came back out as his reporter gimmick that we haven't seen in forever, and then came back as Hurricane Helms again.
Fun.
Yeah, he went into the Lake of Reincarnation twice. I was hoping for a different character. That's the other third time, but he went back to the superhero.
Oh, boy.
Martin, how do you think they played off this? Because as of right now, if they come back and Sammy Guevara isn't dead after that match, I'm not entirely sure where this match or where this storyline can go.
Yeah, this storyline really, I don't see a lot they can do now with the storyline because to me that match it should have been the finish, the end of the match, and to me that was the finish, the end of the match. All the feud, and to me, that was the end of the feud, and that was a pretty fun match. I really liked it. If they did what they had to do, it was fun. It was entertaining to watch, and I love all the spots that they did, and it was just a fun match to watch.
I agree. It was fun. It was hokey. It was exactly what you expect out of a Matt Hardy Elite Deletion match. So MJF defeated Chris Jericho. And the stipulation on that match was if MJF wins, he joins the Inner Circle. Point blank, he stole the match. Just like you would expect a chicken shit heel to do. He stole the match, and now we're going to get the fallout on Wednesday. There's really nothing else to say about that match. It wasn't a great match. I thought Jericho was going to win just because I'd like to keep MJF away from the Inner Circle, but if now we're going to have the MJF or the tension build in the Inner Circle to finally get them all apart from each other, because LAX is championship material, and they have not been treated as such. In the tag team division, at least. We're getting Ortiz tagging with Sammy Guevara out of nowhere. Like, no. He has a tag team partner. Use him. So other than that, I got nothing on that match. Martin, what do you got?
It was an okay match. Nothing spectacular or great to watch, but it was just an okay match. MJF did. They both did what they had to do, and they just got the job done. The match just they did what they had to do, and I'm looking forward to seeing what MJF and Jericho have to do, how the storyline's gonna go.
As long as we don't get another sing-along.
Oh, man, I want another sing-along. Give it to me.
Oh,
give it to me.
No.
AEW entertaining. That is it. I don't care what they're giving me. I know I am in for entertainment. So that sing-along was absolutely phenomenal because I knew hokey entertainment.
It was entertaining to watch.
It was definitely hokey. I'll give it that, too.
I'm all for hokey if you're telling me, no, we're going to have hokey. But if you're going to be the WWE, no, we're not going to do hokey, and then introduce a 24/7 title, just tell me you're going to be hokey. Like, just tell me. Be honest with me.
See, I think that's where it's the whole Tony Khan, we want to make something that you're not going to be embarrassed to show your friends. And then there was that.
They can both sing. How is that embarrassing?
Oh, it's not. It's just not what I would go ahead and be like, hey, guys, let's watch some wrestling tonight. Click. MJF has the voice of an angel. Let's get that out of the way.
Childhood star.
Was he really?
That's what. Let me look it up real quick.
But
He was
absolutely figure it out.
in the acapella group and when he was in high school. That's what I heard.
It was absolutely amazing. When I watched it, I was just like, oh God, this is happening. And then it was, I don't mind. Again, not exactly what I was expecting when I wanted to watch a wrestling highlight. Entertaining, sure. But that voice, I was just like, yes, all right.
In 2001, MJF appeared on an episode of The Rosie O'Donnell Show singing You Are My Sunshine after his parents submitted a tape of him singing it while eating a pear. After the video of his performance resurfaced in 2019, MJF, in character, initially denied the appearance before admitting it, stating that Rosie O'Donnell was trying to cling on to her fading star and that he didn't have the nerve to tell Britney Spears, who appeared on the same episode, that she wasn't going to make it as a singer.
What a beautiful heel.
So MJF.
Yep.
So he was on the Rosie O'Donnell Show. Also, I just realized and just learned that he was trained by Pat Buck and Kurt Hawkins at the Creative Pro Wrestling Academy.
Oh.
They have created some big stars.
Mm-hmm.
So last match, the final match of the night on AEW.
Mm-hmm.
We had Jon Moxley versus Eddie Kingston in an I Quit match. I love the match. It was exactly what you expect out of two Combat Zone guys. CZW, known for their death matches. Moxley and Kingston were part of that for a long time. They were like best friends. The storyline was very personal. It was great TV. The only issue I had with the match was the ending. Give me a ref stoppage. Make the ref stop Eddie Kingston because Eddie Kingston can't admit the words "I quit." That's the only issue I have with the match. Martin, what do you think of the match?
I'll tell you that. Like you said, they're both CW guys, and it's what you expect for those two. It's a hardcore deathmatch kind of match, and I quit. And during that match, several times I thought Eddie Kingston was actually going to win it, but nope, Jon Moxley just came out at the end and just won and just retained his title.
All right, that wraps up our AEW Full Gear recap. I mean, we had Omega Omega and Moxley stare down to end the show. Nothing important. I thought there was going to be more. I thought Pac was showing up. I was disappointed. So, let's get into what you want to talk about New Japan, because I have absolutely no idea what you're about to talk about.
Well, I mean, it's kind of a quick recap since the last time we were on. The G1 tournament has finished, with Kota Ibushi being the winner of the G1. Winning the G1 gives him a contract to challenge for the IWGP Heavyweight and Intercontinental title, which right now is being held by Tetsuya Naito. Power Struggle happened on Saturday, so just 2 days ago, where Kota Ibushi actually lost that contract to Jay White after Jay White had challenged him for the contract, which was the first time that contract has ever switched hands since 2012. Winner of the G1 has always been able to defend it, always ends up in Wrestle Kingdom main eventing. So this was kind of big news. In oddball news, it's been announced that Kota Ibushi will still challenge for those two titles, since Wrestle Kingdom is a 2-night event on the first night, and Jay White will challenge the winner on the second night. Doesn't make sense to me. Kota lost the contract. He shouldn't be challenging for the titles. Of course, for Jay, he's more than happy. Whoever wins is going to have a match the 24 hours beforehand. So he's going in there going, all right, whoever I'm going to be facing is going to be beat up. So in a place for him, it makes sense. As a booking standpoint, this all kind of is real weird. You don't understand why Kota still gets a match for the titles. So oddball, besides that, a little bit of upcoming news for New Japan. Of course, Wrestle Kingdom 2-night event, January 4th and 5th. We've got the Super J Cup happening in America, which we kind of briefly went over. We've got the Best of the Super Juniors happening, and we've got World Tag League. So there's a lot of stuff going on before we get to Wrestle Kingdom. And
now, all of those events are usually spaced out throughout the year, right?
Usually right now we'd be going into the World Tag League round-robin tournament. So and the Best of the Super Juniors is usually done in the spring. So they're kind of combining those two right now, since World Tag League is all heavyweights anyways. Best of the Super Juniors is all the junior weights. So combining the two won't really hurt, won't have anyone working double, and will fill out the card nicely. But we're going to be talking a lot of matches. So
as per usual in New Japan.
Yep, lots of tournaments coming up, lots of action coming up. But that's what's going on over there.
All right. I just don't like that style of wrestling. We got a comment from Clinton here. If we're going to have Nato versus Bushi on night 1 for the title, give me White versus Evil for the contract, and the winners face each other on night 2.
While I can definitely see it happening, Jay White definitely wants to go ahead and have the, I'm taking the night off kind of mentality. As you said, chicken shit kind of, heel. But it would make sense. Right now, Bullet Club is kind of fracturing, and you've got Evil and Yujiro Takahashi, as well as Dick Togo, kind of off on the side. Meanwhile, Jay White, Guido, and all your usual Bullet Club guys are on the other side. So seeing those two face off would make sense. But at the same time, I don't like two heels facing off and two faces facing off on the same night when you could easily just mix and match it. But it would make sense storyboard. There is definitely some kind of fracture going on, some kind of fissure happening. So
could we be coming to the end of the Bullet Club? The illustrious Bullet Club?
Definitely not the end of the Bullet Club. There's too many people in it, though. It is the ranks have been overflowed thanks to the pandemic, because we couldn't get Jay White back when they started doing matches. They couldn't get Tamatanga, Tongaloa, Chase Owens. There was a very big void in their main event spot. So when Evil went over, he filled that spot. Well, now they're all back, and now their ranks are too bloated. Kenta as well, actually, was in Bullet Club, and he couldn't come over. So when Bullet Club was being represented, you had Yujiro Takahashi, Guido, and Jado, all of which are usually the pinfall guys. So they had to do something at the time. Now they have to do something to spread it out again. So I don't see it being the end of Bullet Club. I mean, take a look at how many leaders of Bullet Club we've had. Prince Devitt, AJ Styles, Omega, and now Jay White. Yep. Bullet Club evolves.
That's fair. No, at some point, everything has to end, though.
Everything has to end, but we will see what happens. I don't think it's going to be completely it'll fracture, but not break.
So Brandon's asking, what match in New Japan would you say is a must-watch if you are now a current fan? So let's take Omega versus was it Nato or Tanahashi?
Yeah, there's plenty of matches. If you're talking about which one you should go back to and watch, there's plenty of Okada versus Tanahashi matches that are fantastic. Omega versus Okada matches that Dave Meltzer has rated off the scale. Breaks the scale, 7.5 stars. I can't deny they're all great matches. But if you're looking for one that not only, if you're already a New Japan fan, you already like the style. And I would say the best one to watch for that is Katsuri Shibata versus Kazuchika Okada. That was the very first match I ever watched for New Japan, and it hooked me instantly. Hard-hitting match. It was unfortunately Shibata's last match before he had to retire. He had a brain hemorrhage after headbutting Okada in that match. Fantastic match. If you're looking for something that recently just happened, Evil versus Tetsuya Naito that just happened on Power Struggle was fantastic and brought you through quite a roller coaster ride. So that would be the match that I would suggest if you're looking for something that happened this year, G1 had plenty of great matches. Night 5 and night 16 are the ones that stick out in my brain. And a lot of it has to do with the Japanese style, the strong style, the just get up in someone's face. Between Sonata and Zack Sabre Jr., any match between Shingo and Minoru Suzuki, you've got a whole bunch to choose from. But if you're talking about my all-time favorite match, must watch, Shibata versus Okada. Easy, hands down.
Well, his New Japan talk took us to the end of the show. We had one more topic.
Ooh.
And unlike previous management of this show, I don't go over time. Just saying.
We'll see.
Predominantly because me yelling this long gives me a headache. I didn't actually yell because Nick's not here. I'm very disappointed by that. I have no one to yell at now. You have to bother me enough to want to yell at you, Jay.
Go ahead and talk about how Japanese wrestling isn't as good as AEW or something like that, and we'll get in an argument.
I mean, the thing is, it's not that it's not as good. It's I don't like the style.
It is an acquired taste. I will give it that.
So we can't even argue about that because it's just, the reason I don't like New Japan is because I don't like the Japan style.
Right.
So, and that's all personal preference at that point.
Absolutely.
Clinton chimes in with, if you're a current fan, then Omega versus Jericho or Okada versus Omega or the Golden Lovers versus the Young Bucks or Shingo versus Ospreay or Ospreay versus Okada, champion versus champion. That's a lot of matches.
All of them. Watch them all.
All right. Well, there you go. So, ladies and gentlemen, our first wrestling show back in 2 weeks. We're going to keep doing the wrestling show. We do have something new coming soon. We're going to be starting something new in December, technically the very last day of November, but it's all the same. That will be announced soon, but we're going to keep most of our shows the same with the addition of what we're going to be doing. We are excited. I think everyone's excited. I'm excited. We're going to have some fun with it. It's going to be a lot of fun, guys. I can't stress this enough. At this point, I'm just trying to waste 40 seconds because I like getting off air at around the exact time. Down to the second. What you got to do.
That's the professional demeanor of Game Changer Sports Network.
Yes, exactly. Paul has no idea what I'm even talking about, but he can't fucking wait. I can't fucking wait. Jay can't fucking wait. Martin can't fucking wait. All right, I'm done wasting your time now, guys. Thank you for joining us. We had fun talking about AEW Full Gear. We will see you probably tomorrow for our football show. Have a great night.